Hello everyone, AAA here, back with another video, and this time, after how long, I'm finally gonna do a Shaheen guide, officially, by myself here. I know there are a lot of Shaheen guides out there. There's quite a lot. I know there was one that Gerlanda made some time ago, I think after he hit God of Destruction. I figured, you know, Shaheen is actually my main character, so you know, I want to give my take on this character and what he can do. So this is what this video is going to be about. It's going to be me conducting finally a Shaheen guide here. Now, just like with the Leroy guide, I just have the leaderboards here. Now, if it wasn't apparent enough, you know, obviously with some of my tournament results that I've had throughout 2024, also ranked 8th in the world with Shaheen. Now, I know that might not be as impressive as the 6th place that I currently have with Leroy. I think it might be 5th now, but it may not be as impressive, but I definitely have a lot more rank points here with 323,000. And obviously, you know, being just behind the likes of Lowhigh, Steffi Black, XCC, Edge, Rhythm, CMN. I don't know who Bottom G is, but either way, I'm up here alongside those amazing and talented players here. Some of the very well-known Shaheen mains. Yeah, just to show you guys, you know, I'm more than capable of teaching and doing a whole guide on Shaheen. So without further ado, let's just get right to it, yeah. So what I'm going to do now, I'm obviously going to pick Shaheen here, and then I'm going to pick a walled stage. Not super big, but we'll just use Jin as our training dummy here. But essentially what I think of Shaheen is Shaheen is a really well-rounded character. Has a lot of tools that that you've asked for. Not all though, but a lot. Obviously this character is regarded as one of the strongest characters in the game. I think a lot of people have him in, you know, top 10, somewhere between 7, 8, and 9. I have him 11th, so just to give you guys some perspective here. But yeah, let's just do it. So yeah, I feel like Shaheen is really well-rounded, has above average movement, and they've given him a lot of range in this game. Obviously that up forward 1 has a lot of reach, and slide as well. So we'll just get right into that. Obviously I have absolutely 0 script, so I'm just doing this in one take. And you know, if I miss anything, do let me know. I have missed a lot with the Leroy guide, and I might there might be a follow-up video on that, but in the meantime, you know, this is my main, so I don't think I'll miss as much here. But let's just get right to it. So I actually forgot to mention punishment with Leroy, so I'm just gonna do punishment with Shaheen, just to start things off, just to tell you guys what to use as punishes here. So for punishment, Shaheen has some of the best punishment in the game, and I'll show you exactly why here. So for 10 frames, so this is standing. For 10 frames, he has 2-3. So without stance is +3. With stance is +10. And he can do quite a lot of things here with stance, and I'll obviously talk about his stealth step here later on in this video. But just to tell you right now, stealth step is really good in this game. He doesn't really have anything for 11. It's still 2-3. For 12, he has 4-2-3. Super strong 12 frame punish. +20 on hit. That's a lot. For 13, he has 4-1. But he also has forward back 2. So this is traditionally a 14 frame move, but if I do it fast, I get 13 frames. And obviously down forward 1 depending on the situation. You know, bear, back 1 kind of deal. So that's 13. 14, he has quite a few 14 frame moves. Down forward 4-3 is a 14 frame punish. Down back 2-1, which is his heat engager. That's also 14 frames, and he has the regular forward back 2. That's also 14 frames. 15, he has hop kick. Down forward 2, standard launchers. He also has this, but I mean, we'll talk about that later. 16, Power Crush. 17, he has down forward 3 and back 4. So these are some of the long range punishes. Not super long range. I mean, not like crazy consistent, but you know, he has it. So I think that's a really so that's a standing punishment. His wall standing punishment. So this is his 11 frames, just a regular wall standing 4. This is 13 frames. Wall standing 3. For 14, nothing special. Just, you know, his wall standing 1 is just 14 frames. 15 is his hop kick, and that's because his wall standing 2 is actually 16 frames. And then obviously he has stuff like a 25 frame orbital, and then you can do 24 frame up forward 1. But I mean, those are pretty slow, I would say, for punishes. So, but otherwise, you might be able to cancel it into FF3, but it's really hard to do that. So like, you block and then do that. That would be your quote-unquote 17 frames, but probably slower. So that's punishment. But yeah, let's just get on with the actual guide here. So Shaheen, I feel like, so similar to Leroy. You know, obviously I said that Leroy plays up here. Shaheen plays a little bit further. He's got really good range. Obviously, you kind of want to be where his down forward 1 might hit, but honestly, it's not even that necessary because you can close in space with up forward 1. So I feel like the mid, you know, like obviously up close, he's really, really effective here, but he's also effective here as well, right? Like back 1, he's got up forward 1, like hop kick hits from that range, down forward 2, forward 4. So his range is really is improved from Tekken 7. So that is something I can vouch for. Like, he's got range for sure, and then obviously it's FF3 as inconsistent as it can be, and then yeah, running 2. So yeah, so mid-range I think is probably where you can play Shaheen here. So like somewhere like here, and then do your little pokes there. So Shaheen, I feel like Shaheen is known for a lot of things. First, he's they kept a lot of his Tekken 7 stuff, so that means his generic tools are really good. So his standard jab +1, he's got jab strength, so 1, 2, 3, so that's all highs. 1, 2, 2, high, high, mid. 1, 2, 4, so that's the more punishable version. Obviously, it's got a little bit of pushback, so it might be hard for some characters to punish, but he has it. So he's definitely got the jab strings in hand. So 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 2 all acts as a 10 frame G clip. So that's guaranteed, and then 1, 2, 2 as well. But 1, 2, 4, not exactly, because 1, 2, 4. So the last hit actually comes out way too slow here. So obviously it's not going to work in this case. But 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 2 works. So if you think they're gonna duck 1, 2, 3 because this is a duckable high, you can just do 1, 2, 2. And the beautiful, you know, the great part about 1, 2, 2 is the last hit actually counter hit launches, and it's only -11. So I mean, I feel like you can space it, and you can also just delay it. I mean, that was what I just showed you. That was like max delay. Yeah, so you can definitely delay it, but you can just kind of just throw out 1, 2. So Shaheen has really, really good jab strings. Other, you know, small Tekken tools would be like down forward 1. I think down forward 1 is really good. This is still, you know, he doesn't have an extension for it, but this has pretty decent tracking. You would have to step it to the left. Obviously, Shaheen's weak side is right, or his side step right, so that would be his left side. But you step this side, you sidestep this to the left. So Shaheen's right in this case. But this is a really good poke, -1 on block. I mean, the properties haven't changed from Tekken 7, but this still remains really, really strong. So that's his down forward 1. And his go-to low, I would say, down 3. Down 3 is his 16 frame low that high crushes. Obviously, he has a generic down 4 here, but I mean, down 4 has been pretty much nerfed from Tekken 7. So this would be his go-to low. So yeah, down 3. So down 3 on hit is 0 if you go by without stance, but he has a stance transition from here. So It's actually +4. So it's +4 if you go into stance. But it's a really good low here. Obviously, you make it safer, but it's currently bugged where this down 3 is actually -14 either way. So a character like Jin can actually launch punish down 3 regardless if I go into stance or not, because yeah, the stance transition cancel is really quick. So that's that. Other moves I would like to use in the neutral, down forward 4-1. So I would say that's definitely one of his key moves. That's a really good move. Obviously, I touched on this move in the Season 2 wish list. But this is a really good move to use here. Forward 4, I think it's a super strong move to use in this case. I mean, it's a 50 frame homing. I mean, I know it's high. That's the only weakness this move really has, is the fact that it's high and that it's duckable. But you can legitimately just throw this out and, you know, catch steppers. And, like, look at the damage it did. This wasn't even counter hit. So this is 21, 18, so 39 damage. That's almost 40 damage I just did here just by calling out his sidewalk. Or even sidestep is super fast, right? But other than that, like, obviously his down 4-2 is really good. This has a little bit of high crush evasion, like, you know, high crush properties for whatever reason. So it's like almost like Fall Phoenix, but it's a bit more inconsistent. But I think there are certain frame situations where you can actually get this to high crush. So I've seen down 2 into this, so like the -6, -7 range, like you can just kind of evade it. But anywhere safer or less safer than that might not work. So that's that. Some more key moves I like to use. Obviously, back 1 I think is a really good move. You know, this is like a really good mid to use in this case. I wouldn't call it a power mid, but it's good enough for me where, yeah, it may not knock down. It actually heat engages, as we just saw, and also with heat dash it launches. So you can do something like that, right? But back 1 is good. It's 19 frames, so it's not on like the super slow side. So I think it's really good. And you can actually recover either in crouch or just standing. So this is where the versatility that I was talking about earlier comes from, right? Like, I can throw this out and be 0 either standing, so I can like do this if they interrupt me at any point, or I can go into full crouch and just like low parry or something, right? So I'd say that's a really good move. Back 3 is also good. So this used to be 0 in Tekken 7. But this is +3 on block, and also +3 on hit. On counter hit, however, +14, and it guarantees down back 2-1. Or it guarantees, well, it doesn't guarantee forward back 2, but what it does guarantee, however, is also down forward 4-3. So this is actually the more damaging route. So obviously the down back 2-1 was 43. And then down forward 4-3 is 45. So that's 2 more damage, and obviously you don't pop heat if you don't want to. So that's also just another thing to think about. So this move will obviously get changed for Season 2. So, but for now, this is a counter hit launcher. Good tool to use here. But I think at this point, this is still a counter hit move, but this will guarantee this. And this obviously is going to be a new heat engager. And we'll probably replace this heat engager here, which is the power crush. This is really good. I mean, this is a 16 frame safe power crush. So that's an armor move, and it also heat engages. And then you can kind of enforce your mix up that way, right? Otherwise, some more key moves. I mean, Shaheen has a lot of good tools here, like up forward 1, really good, 24 frames, and he's in the air, so he actually evades the lows. And yeah, +1. But and it does chip damage. Only 2 though, not a whole lot of chip damage, but he does inflict chip damage. Or actually no, because Jin is in rage here. I'm pretty sure that's because he's not taking. That's probably why he's not taking as much. Yeah, that makes more sense. So 7. So yeah, 7 recoverable damage here. +1, but this is pretty linear, so do be careful when throwing this down. It's 24 frames, so it's on the slow side for sure. but you can kind of just throw it out from here, right? So this is what I mean when I say Shaheen has range. Up forward 1 alone kind of made his range game better, and then you can kind of just use your stance here, which I will talk about here in a bit. But yeah, up forward 1 is good. Up forward 3 is 1 frame slower, and it launches. I mean, it's a safe unblock orbital. You can't really go wrong with that. But again, it's slow, it's linear. I wouldn't really think about using this unless you have the absolute perfect read, right? Like something like this, right? That's a mistake. Oops. Something like that, right? So that's up forward 3. Yeah, down forward 2 I've already mentioned. Back 4, this is just good for Oki. Only use it during Oki situations, I would say. So these are kind of moves from neutral that I would use. So just kind of like standing and stuff. So yeah, like down forward 4-1, really good. +9 on hit, -2. -2 on block if you go into stance. And then you can kind of like enforce whatever you want here. And obviously he has what we call a flash kick. I just call it a hood. So this is really good. So you're just kind of like holding down. So I already did a whole tutorial on how to do charge move infinitely. So you be sure to tune into that. So this was a video I did months ago. But in this case, I'm holding down this entire time while I'm going into stance here. And this is +4 on block. And on hit, it's just a knockdown. But when I pop heat, obviously we know what it can do in heat, which I will discuss a lot more in detail here, what his heat game looks like. But yeah, so this is kind of his neutral. Obviously I discussed his small Tekken tools and his overall neutral tools that I say that you should be using as Shaheen. And he has really a lot of well-rounded tools. Obviously down 3, I've had to discuss about lows already. Down 3 I already mentioned. Down 4 is a whatever low. Sidestep 2, this is a new low they gave him. It kind of acts like as a dragon of down 2, you know, from past games. It's 2 frames slower, however, but the counter hit property is still there. Then you can kind of like enforce the full crouch, which again, full crouch will be a separate category here along with the stance. So, but apart from that, I mean, he's got some moves where you can kind of like high crush as well as low crush. So down back 4. So this is a high crushing move. So if I go down back 1 and they throw out a jab, this will high crush. And then obviously it launches. It's a bit inconsistent for some reason, but yeah, I mean, it is a launcher. You can definitely get a combo here. And then something like that, right? So, but yeah, so that pretty much sums up his neutral tools. I mean, if I did miss anything, do let me know, but I don't feel like I missed a whole lot this time. So that's for neutral. Let's talk about full crouch here real quick, and why Shaheen is such a monster in full crouch. I will tell you why. First and foremost, he has slide, which, you know, guarantees a lot of things, right? So guarantees this, and then if you do it really fast, it guarantees that as well. But along with slide is people consider this as one of the best lows in the game, and the reason why this is the best low in the game is because obviously the frames are really good. So it's not like down 3 where it's -14 no matter what. Like, I can actually go into stance and they can only get an 11 frame punish on me. But more importantly, it has the extension. So if you try to duck the low and try to punish it and get hit with the high, it's an actual counter hit launcher. And then you kind of go crazy with it, right? So so yeah, so he has the slide, and then if you want to go safer here, obviously he has this, but there is a risk throwing out this high because there's no other mix-up to it. Like, they can just duck the high and punish you for it. But this is kind of the mind game here when you throw out the stance. Like, you won't know. You're not gonna know if they're gonna throw out the high or not. So that's what makes it really good, because the mind game is there, and the only real punish you get from this is, you know, if you're worried about the other options, it's just a standard dick jab, which is only 5 damage. So really, really good move. So so that's from full crouch. Those are the lows, I would say. Now, Obviously, he has your standard hop kick and orbital. While standing 1, I didn't really touch on while standing 1 a whole lot. This is a move I would like to use, but because it's from while standing, I didn't really touch on it in the neutral. But you know, this is kind of a move you want to use in the neutral. This is a really good move. This is a counter hit tool, plus 14. This used to be plus 12 in Tekken 7, but it's plus, you know, it's plus 14 on counter hit and only minus 2 on block. It's only minus 2 on block and 14 frames. It's really good. And obviously, being plus 14, you know, this is guaranteed, right? So this is a really, this is a super good move. I would recommend all Shaheen players to use while standing 1, because I think while standing 1 is really good. Like whether you do like dick jab into this or even like that into this, as fake as it might be, like I feel like you can still catch people with this, or even just raw, like just go crouch and then while standing 1. Really good tool. Really good tool. And obviously, you know, the wall standing 2, he has that, but this is super risky to throw at. It is minus 17 on block. So if you're gonna like enforce the slide mix up and you want to use wall standing 2 to get the launch, definitely think about the risk that you're taking. Minus 17, so do be careful. Obviously, hop kick is preferable. It's only minus 13, right? So, but yeah, I mean, definitely want to consider the risks. The risk you know, that you're enforcing here. The risk that you're taking just by throwing this move out. But last but not least, and this is probably the biggest reason why his full crouch mix is really strong, is because he has full crouch down forward too, and you can actually fake it as a, you know, you can actually, what you can do with this is you can do a crouch dash and then get this anyway, because you're in full crouch and you're holding down forward anyway. So same thing. But what makes this really good is it's an 18 frame mid. Doesn't have tracking, like you can step this, but this is safe. This is minus 9. Yeah, the pushback isn't crazy, but it's safe. It's safe. It wall splats, and then yeah. And the other move, actually, I did forget to say running 2. Running 2 in this game is crazy because they made it 3 frames faster than it was in Tekken 7. This used to be 20 frames in Tekken 7, but it used to be 20 frames and plus 6. But it's 17 frames fast and plus 5. Now, obviously, nothing on counter hit compared to Victor and Dragunov's wall running 2s, but it doesn't matter because this has pretty decent tracking and you can kind of just realign, right? And chip damage. It's really good. You can kind of just do that. But the only thing with wall running 2 is there's a little bit of pushback, so it's not like you can enforce any kind of mix. And if you are, it's going to be a lot of fake stuff. But either way, if they like to step, you can. This is kind of like the setup you can do. Just running 2 into forward 4. Kind of crazy, but it does work sometimes if they want to step. If they're really scared of this move, just if they want to step, definitely by all means. Yeah, so that was the full crouch game. That was wall running 2. Let's talk about stealth step. So his manual entry. So stealth step. This is the only stance that Shaheen has, apart from, you know, a lot of moves that he has from full crouch. Like, this is the only actual stance that he has in this game, but he can do a lot from stance here. So first, let's talk about the moves from stance, and then we can talk about what he can actually do from stance, like, you know, with the cancels and all that. So the manual input to stealth step is down 4 3 plus 4. Used to be down 4 Tekken 7, but that's not a thing anymore. It's just one button now. It's so much easier to do, and it actually covers quite a bit of distance. So do keep that in mind. So stealth step 1. So this is kind of like acts as a so this is a 12 frame high from stance, and it's just a little punch, right? But the classic setup would be, you know, down 4, you know, down 3. Oops. The classic setup I've seen with Shaheen mains is down 3 stealth step. Oops. Yeah, down 3 into stealth step 1, And obviously, this also used to be plus 12, but like while standing 1, this is plus 14 on counter hit now. And minus 1 on block. Obviously plus 5 on hit, and it's a 12 frame move, so. But do be careful, this can be interrupted by a standard duck jab, or you can even just duck this. So that's stealth step 1. Stealth step 2 is also another, it's a solid mid from stance. Obviously, I've seen Shaheen players do this in the past, but this is not real because, you know, plus 4, you're doing a 15 frame move. Thick jab will beat that. But SNK too. So the abbreviation for stealth step is SNK. So it's just sneak. But SNK2 is actually safe. You know, it's plus 8 on hit and minus 9 on block. So this is safe. But on counter hits, it knocks down. And obviously this acts as a guaranteed follow-up here for slide. It used to never hit grounded like this, but now it does. It's really strong. It's a really strong Oki tool alongside back 4. So that's stealth step 2. Stealth step 3, pretty much the same as 4-4-3. The only thing is that this is 20 frames compared to this. Compared to just regular FF3, it's 17 frames, but the frames haven't changed. It's 12 frames, but this acts as a low crushing launcher. So if obviously we know you can obviously down jab a lot of Shaheen's options from, you know, down 3 into stealth step, right? But SNK3 actually beats dick jab, so it becomes kind of a guessing game at this point, right? So like you don't want to get get launched by this, right? Stealth step 4, I think it's an okay move. Nothing to write home about. Obviously, it's a knockdown, but from a certain distance, actually, fun fact, you can actually pick up. I'm trying to see if I can do this, and I failed. Let's see if I can show it here in this tutorial or in this guide. Okay, I think the active startup frame has to be slower than 20, so let's do this. Yeah, there you go. So this actually is a counter hit launcher from a certain range, but the only thing about this move is that it's really slow. It's 20 frames and minus 14 on block, so really it's a pretty slow low from stance. I mean, it's better than what they gave him back in Tekken 7 with stealth step 3+4, which is even more punishable and even slower. So it's better, don't get me wrong, it's a better low, but you're not gonna see a whole lot of, you know, this being used. But it's not bad, it's not terrible, but it could be better. Alright, so now the new moves from stealth step, apart from, you know, stance 4, is stealth step 1+2. So this is a 19 frame mid, heat engages. Obviously, I think it just did a bit of chip damage. Now this is +2. This is +2 on block, but I recover crouch no matter what. And my opponent also recovers in crouch here as well. So it's down 2. So yeah, let's say down 4 into this +2. Then I can kind of follow up with a while standing 4. You know, if they're gonna try to step, and it's really hard to step Shaheen in this game. Obviously, with homing tools like forward 4 and down forward 3, which I didn't really discuss with my neutral tools, but it's hard to step him. But the non-homing moves, apart from down for 1, doesn't have a whole lot of tracking. So just to keep that in mind. But for the most part, this move has pretty decent tracking. Obviously, this situation here, you can't step this situation at all. You might be able to step this at +4, but at +10, pretty much impossible. And this is uninterruptible unless they do some kind of power crush. But this is where you kind of stop them from, disrespecting frames by doing stance 1, which is a counter hit move, and it's really fast, right? So you can't be interrupted by any kind of power crush. But yeah, so that's step 1+2, and then obviously launches on heat dash. And then And yeah, I missed the wall there, but either way. So that's a heat engager. So that's Stealth Step 1+2, and now he has a new series from Stealth Step now. So this is SNK down forward 1. So both are natural hit, and he has the high and the mid. So it's also 15 frames, just like SNK2, but the difference is he has extensions, and this is actually a safer option because he's only -5 here. Now he can threat it, he can threaten it by just throwing these out. But at the same time, he can just kind of do SNK down for 1 with nothing and be -5, which I don't think is that bad at all. So now the high version is SNK down forward 1-2. So this actually deletes gray health, which I will talk about gray health removal here in a sec here. But this removes gray health. This is kind of a thing that Shaheen can do. He can just delete gray health as well. I think he's one of 4 or 5 characters that can delete gray health in this game, without Rage Art, of course. But you guys just saw how much damage that did. So 27, 52. So that's a natural combo, and obviously it's situational. It's situation confirmable. Like, I can't hit confirm this. I think it's really hard to hit confirm this, but yeah, it's really hard to hit confirm this. But you can kind of situation confirm. It's similar to down back 2-1. So that's the high, but obviously this is duckable, right? -4 if they don't duck, but it's duckable. So if they do duck it, you have the mid. It's also a natural combo, but obviously on delay. So we'll just delay it. You have to actually just let it rip for it to actually become a natural combo. So just something to keep in mind here. So if you want to if you want the mid to hit, you gotta just send it. But worst case, you're -13, and this is supposed to heat engage in season 2 anyway. So yeah, so that's something to look forward to. So this into heat dash, I think that's gonna be really strong, obviously, because he has the high variation. You can kind of just throw it out, and then the mid. I don't know if it's gonna launch or not. Might not. It might with heat dash. So we'll see. We'll see about that. But yeah, so that's it for Stealth Step. The moves that come from Stealth Step. Now, Stealth Step has a really good quality in that you can actually just insta-cancel it, frame 1. So it's not like you're locked in stance and then you gotta do something. Like, you can just insta-cancel. Now, the neat thing they did with Stealth Step here in this game, and I think it took me a bit to actually get used to it, is what they did with Stealth Step. Once you cancel it and then you go straight into a full crouch move. So I'll show you. So Stealth Step, and then I cancel and I go straight into a full crouch move. You see how seamless that is? I mean, it doesn't even look like I canceled it. It doesn't even look like I canceled stance. So how you do this is down forward. So when you do like a down forward move, down forward stance, and then you hit down back to cancel. So the cancel Stealth Step is down back, but then if you go straight to down forward after hitting down back, you get access to full crouch moves. But the more important thing here is you kind of throw it out from here and then do a slide. So the slide, how you do the slide here is, so you're gonna hold down forward, down forward again. So I'm gonna say it once more here. So I'm holding down forward, down back, and then down forward again, and I go straight into slide. I think this is really cheap. This is super cheap. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. This is kind of insane. The fact that they gave this to Shaheen of all characters. So that makes this Stealth Step mix from here, from like range 2, that much better. I mean, Stealth Step 1+2 actually hits from so far, and then I can just do slide as well. So this is what I mean when I can say you can kind of play Shaheen like mid-range or even like this far out, And then obviously he's got the loop, which I will discuss the loops here later on as well. Yeah, so that's pretty much Stealth Step in a nutshell. Gray health. Gray health. He has this amazing quality that not many other characters have, and that is deleting gray health. So obviously he has a few ways to do this. Forward back 2. regardless if you do the fast input or not, you're gonna get the same damage and you're gonna delete gray health as well. So if I go like look at this gray health, it's gone, right? So forward back 2, that's one way to do it. Back 2 is another way to do it. Oops. So this is a 15 frame mid that's safe from block. I didn't touch on this in the neutral because I wanted to save it for this section. But it's -9. It doesn't have the best tracking. It's a bit iffy. It's a bit weird. It actually has to hit from the front for it to actually work. But otherwise, you can just do it, honestly. I mean, there's no risk doing this. I mean, Shaheen is a relatively safe character, so, you know, it's not like you're risking anything doing this. And obviously, as I've shown you, stealth step down forward 1-2. This also deletes gray health. And last but not least is parry. Now I will show you what that looks like. So if I go punish, and then we'll have the Jin set to punch here. Okay. So if I go, let's say, okay. So this parry, this is only a punch parry. He's had this since Tekken 7. It used to not guarantee anything in Tekken 7, but now it actually does something in this game, believe it or not. So I'll show you. Oops. Let's make sure he blocks here. So, see? So it only does 15 damage. It deletes gray health. So this is 15 real damage. So if I literally chip them to death and they try to punch me and I parry them, that gray health is gone. Even, you know, on a successful parry. So this is a really unique thing that Shaheen has. Now, you don't see parry being used much because I feel like this is a really niche parry compared to, you know, like a Leroy back 2 or any kind of parry, because, you know, it's only a punch parry, right? So yeah, so this is another way to delete gray health. So he's got ways to delete gray health in this game, which is nice. I feel like that kind of makes him stand out even more in that sense. Yeah, so we talked about full crouch, we talked about stealth step, we talked about his neutral tools. Now let's talk about, you know, his offense, like what you can do, you know, like what kind of offense you can kind of run with Shaheen. So obviously, you know, a lot of people really don't like his looped offense, and for good reason. I mean, once he gets going, you can't really stop him. So one of the loops you can do is this. So if I can just, you know, oops. Oh my goodness. So if I do this, for example, and then, oh my, yeah, it's tough, but, and then I can just kind of loop it, right? I can kind of loop that slide offense as well. So I feel like that's one way to kind of play him, and then obviously he's got a lot of fast attacks, so you kind of just want to throw out, you know, the G clefs and all that, and his safe pokes and the mids, you know, mid, really strong tool overall, and then obviously occasionally you want to kind of throw out the hop kick. I mean, I love this, you know, everyone knows I love this hop kick, so I will throw it out when possible. And since Shaheen has above average movement, I like to use his movement as well. So his backdash is not bad. I can step into this. Now obviously you see me step and I do this, right? But the only reason I actually side block into 2-3 is because obviously he has side step 2. Now obviously the more optimal way to, you know, punish him, you know, a move that you sidestep would be to launch, right? So it'd be something like this, right? But yeah, I feel like you gotta play fast. He's a really, like, he's a high APM character, and what that means, he's a really fast character. He's got a lot of fast tools, and you kind of, like, you don't really want to stop your offense. Like when you feel like you've been pressured a little bit, obviously power crush. Now obviously this won't heat engage. Now I'm not sure if it's going to become unsafe as well, but either way, he's still gonna have it. It's still gonna be good. So, you know, I wouldn't really worry about not using this ever again, just because it won't heat engage anymore. It might not heat engage anymore. Either way, this is still a really good power crush to use. So there's that. And obviously, you know, from like a distance, obviously you can kind of just do running 2, upward 1 cancel into slide, You can actually buffer slide in this game, so you kind of just throw that out, right? So, like, let's say I do back one into this, right? Like, it's instant. So, it's so much easier to slide in this game. It's so much easier to, you know, be able to cancel and force the mix. And that's pretty much how you kind of play him without really, you know, using heat mode. But when you do have heat mode, so let's say you get the Power Crush here. Now, we know this. He has a Room Master is the name. That's literally what it's called on the move list. So this is the second of 2 loops that he has with his offensive game plan. So I can just kind of do this all day, right? Now look how much damage that did. That did a lot of damage, and I deleted all of that gray health in the end. So I did Power Crush, so which did that does 25 damage. That's a lot of damage. And then, you know, 3 straight guard breaks. And if you even try to, you know, guess guard break, you think I'm gonna do a guard break again, so I do it first time, and then I can just back one or something, or even like up forward one, and then I can just kind of cancel it, right? So that's kind of, you know, this is his heat mode game, but otherwise, if you get this to land, this is a tornado. And then I can get him to the wall, and then I can do this. So 100 damage. This is probably the most damage I've seen Shaheen, you know, do, right? So, but the other thing, he has a really good, strong wall game, and he's also able to just switch sides at ease too, right? So it's like I can do this. I can switch sides whenever during combos, and even like when I slide, right? So, but yeah. So his heat game is that much better. Like we saw that AK combo, right? When he, you know, does the heat engager and then does this at the wall, and then does the heat dash and then wall carry and gets the wall and kills, you know, right? So Shaheen's heat game, you know, his heat mode really, you know, the heat mechanics in this game really benefits Shaheen that way. Otherwise, in heat mode, he can also just kind of recover the heat gauge back by doing what we call a knife hand attack. So running 2 is a knife hand attack, forward back 2 is a knife hand attack, full crush down forward 2, up forward 1. So you saw that there are certain moves, so like forward back 2 doesn't regain me that much, and that's because this is guaranteed after guard break. So, but otherwise, if I do like running 2 or up forward 1 or full crouch down forward 2, I'll actually regain more heat. And honestly, I think this is a really good thing that Shaheen has. He can kind of just keep the heat forever. Like theoretically, if this all kind of hits, he can kind of keep it forever, and then yeah, like I can kind of keep it up, and like if I do 1 guard break, I can try to keep it. Obviously, he's heat smash. He's got 2 heat smash variations. He's got, you know, the mid, which is 16 frames, and obviously we know that that goes really far, right? And obviously this actually picks up in certain, you know, certain combos or certain situations. It doesn't look like it actually picks up on Jim, but actually it might. Yeah, no, never mind. But that's one heat. That's one variation. The other variation is he has the low. So this actually, so this will break walls, and then this will break floors. So it's just a matter of what you really want to do. Obviously, this being from stance and how fast you can cancel, you can actually do as a mix-up. Like you can cancel it into mid, or you can just not cancel at all and then just do the low. So you can actually mix this up in a way. Like you go into stance and do either the mid or the high or the low. It's really, really good, honestly, if I'm being honest with you. But otherwise, you know, his heat dashes are really good. This launches. Obviously, this launches, and then upward 1 launches as well. And obviously, he has. Excuse me. He also has really good wall carry, obviously, with the wall standing 3 cancel, which if you guys really want me to do a tutorial on how to do this, do let me know. Do drop it down in the comments, because I'm more than happy to show you how to do the wall standing 3 loops as well. But besides that, I feel like that's kind of really more or less what Shaheen can bring to the table. Obviously, his throws, I mean, he just has a generic throw game like everybody else. But you know, a lot of it actually does break the floor and can break the floor. Not this one though. This one might. I'm not sure. But I'm really never used this move. I guess we can find out here soon enough. But all I know for sure is he can definitely break floors with this 1 throw and the generic 2 throw. So we'll just go to the Azucena stage here real quick, and then we'll figure that out. But
get ready for the next
his throws, while not very strong, has a lot of versatility in it. He's got decent Oki, so I will show you what that looks like here in a bit. But yeah, I feel like this character is really he's pretty well rounded that way. So yeah, let's see. So this is kind of the time to find out here. Okay, it doesn't break the floor. I figured, but you know, just thought to, you know, just thought to check it out anyway. But okay, so we talked about, you know, stance. We talked about full crouch. We talked about his neutral tools, his small Tekken, his heat engagers, what he can do in heat mode, his guard break. But now, how do you set this up? Like, how do you do it? Like, decide, you know, decide just this, right? So, a good way to do it would be doing this, right? So, let's say, if I go into stance, I can just do that, right? Then obviously he has this, and then I can kind of do that as well. Another way would be, you know, if I get this to hit, oops, I can just do that, right? So, that's another way to do it. Another way I like to do it is he has a charge partition where I can kind of like go down for just, you know, 9 frames or less, and then yeah, see how I let go, see how I let go of up or down there for a bit, and then I still get the charge. So I'll show you what that looks like. So like that, right? So you know what I like to do is I would like to up forward 1 cancel into, oh, I can't do that. So I'm holding down, up forward 1, something like that, right? So another way to set it up would be something like that, or, you know, oops, can't believe I dropped that. So you can do something like that. You're just holding down the whole time while you're doing that wall combo. So I think it's really strong that way, and I feel like there are a lot of ways to set it up. Like, you go into stance, you know, if you're just holding down, I don't know what that was, but you just hold down, like even holding down forward or even down back, like I'm just holding down back and I can still get it. So as long as I'm holding down, I can still get the charge move to come out. So, you know, possibilities are endless. Like, I can do down 3 into this, I can plus frame into this, running 2 into this, back 1 into this, so side step 2 into this, right? I can even do it from stance. So this is kind of a good way to use this move. I know I didn't really mention that in my charge move tutorial, but this is definitely a good way to use the charge move in general. Yeah, I mean, that pretty much sums up Shaheen. I'm going to show you some combos here to end it, but if there is in fact anything that I missed, do let me know in the comments below. But this is kind of my take on Shaheen. I feel like obviously using this is really important. You know, even without heat, I feel like it's good to use this. Obviously mids like back 1 and down forward 1, up forward 1, I think is really good. Running 2, and you know, your jabs, and even throwing out like down forward 2 or hop kick, side step 2, down 4, all those things, right? And obviously your wall setups, and then when your back's to the wall and you get a launch, you can kind of just switch sides and get straight to the wall. So I think Shaheen is really good like that as well. But yeah, let's show you some combos here. So this is something you can kind of just staple. So I can show you another few more combos here. So let's do this. So this is without heat. So this is, you know, pretty standard. And then I can do this. This does more damage, obviously, if I do that route instead. And then the hard combo would be this. And then obviously the wall is there. I can just get that wall combo in there and stuff, right? So these are some combos I can kind of do. So this is with hop kick. This is with down forward 2. But, you know, with something like orbital, this is kind of the combo I do. Now, this may not be the most optimal, but this is definitely the most consistent. But obviously, certain situations that down 2 will not pick up. And obviously, this is a great, you know, down back 3-4 is a really good wall carry. Down back 2-1 as well. And if you're just in the open, forward 3+4 is really good for that. I didn't really mention 3+4 a whole lot. I don't think that's a move I'd use in the neutral, but you know, for a combo ender, you can kind of enforce a mix-up of some sort. So you can do like this, or like instant slide and stuff. I feel like Shaheen's Oki is really good in this game, so definitely take advantage of that. And yeah, I mean, that pretty much sums up Shaheen in a nutshell. I know I kind of rambled on a lot, and my topics were kind of all around the place and stuff, so I'll be sure to kind of put in a timestamp below just for you guys to know exactly what I'm talking about here, and I'll be sure they're as accurate as possible. And yeah, finally, you know, Shaheen guide. Finally get to do one for you guys. So, yeah, I mean, come season 2, obviously we might get some changes here and there. So obviously this will all be, I mean, this might still mostly be applicable in season 2, but if not, I will definitely do a follow-up video, and as well as Leroy's follow-up video to the guide. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you for watching. If you guys want to see more Shaheen gameplay, please let me know, and I'll be more than happy to post some of my more Shaheen highlights. I mean, I still have a bunch of Shaheen highlights in my channel already, but you know, I'm more than happy to be able to kind of do a collection of Shaheen highlights, you know, based on my ranked gameplay as well as tournament play and all that stuff. So please drop a like, comment, subscribe, and thank you guys. Take care.